Hello, welcome to the stream. All one viewer, I appreciate you. Welcome. Today I am going to be playing some Alone Against the Frost, which is the one of the solo Call of Cthulhu adventures put out by Chaosium, the publisher. It's kind of like a choose your own adventure book, I guess, where sometimes I'll be making choices, sometimes I'll be rolling dice. It does use all the normal Call of Cthulhu mechanics. So I've played one of these before. I've played Alone Against the Flame, but that was only like half the length, so I'm interested to see how long Alone Against the Frost is. So, the setup is, well, they call this a solitaire adventure rather than a solo adventure, but the setup is we are a professor. We're Dr. Nadelman, the youngest PhD to be tenured at Miskatonic University in Arkham, Massachusetts. We are a rising star in the new field of cultural anthropology. Even my European counterparts are impressed by my cascade of learned articles. My theories are exciting, my classes are always full, and my students idolize me. Previous expeditions on my resume have been just sensational enough to draw the favourable attention of the press, to the university in general, and to the Department of Anthropology in particular. Rumours abound about large private endowments for my speciality. My department head and collegiate administrators often invite me to dinner. So I am a rising star at Miskatonic University. This picture here is of a woman. A few pages later, there is a picture of a man. So you can kind of choose what your Dr. Nadelman is. We don't ever get a first name. So I've gone for the male Dr. Nadelman here. I've copied in his character sheet, along with the character sheets of those who will be joining this expedition of ours. So we have Dr. Nadelman, just run through their intro. We have 3 students with us who, let's see, are they introduced somewhere? Yes. So we have 3 students. Sylvia Davidson, the latest arrival in a prominent line of Boston Brahmins. Sylvia is the first to take her studies to the postgraduate level and her boots into the wilds. Thanks to her academic acumen, you have already conferred with the department head about tapping her for a junior position on the faculty. If she has a fault, it is an invariable seriousness, which you hope may slip a little in the field. Of course, Sylvia signed up for the Nadelman expedition. It was the next logical step in her pursuit of academic excellence. We have a second student, Norman Faulkner. Norman is an atypical character around the department. A mature student, he worked for 16 years as a custodian whilst taking advantage of the long night shifts to educate himself from the library's books and to save for this period of study. I persuaded Norman to come on the expedition, hoping his reliable, calm disposition would make him a steady companion to the younger students. And we have our third student, Bernard Epstein, an earnest fellow from the Upper West Side. I don't know where that is. The west of America, I suppose. Bernard is popular among his classmates. His extracurricular conversation of late has centred on his upcoming wedding to his sweetheart Catherine. This is sure to be a dazzling event, and as his favourite professor, your invitation has already arrived. Bernard certainly possesses an aptitude for anthropology and a desire to test his knowledge in the field, but you suspect he signed up for the expedition to defy his image as a city boy and prove his outdoorsman credentials to his bride-to-be. He is obviously going to be the first to die, right? His backstory is his upcoming wedding. That's setting him up for a tragic death immediately. And finally, we have a guide, Charlie Foxtail. It surprises most people to learn that Fort MacDonald's best tracker is a woman from the Tsutsina Nation, best known by some as the Sarsi Indians. But those who ridicule her often regret it, and the bruises can last for weeks. Charlie defied her elders' wishes to leave the village and work as a guide. She's saving up money to send her bedridden husband to Winnipeg for an expensive operation. And that is the party. So, the stats for our 4 companions are fixed. They have full character sheets. But my stats, Dr. Nadelman, are indeterminate. I need to work those out. So, let's see, the Nadelman expedition. Here we go. Okay, I have 360 points to allocate amongst anthropology, history, library use, natural world, other language, own language, psychology, and persuade. I need at least 75% in anthropology. So let's start filling these in. So anthropology, let's put it in at 75. Fill in the half and fifth values as well. So in Call of Cthulhu, well, it's just supposed to run through some of the mechanics. Call of Cthulhu is a skill-based game. It uses D100s, which I have here. Got the D100 and the D10. And the basic mechanic of the game is for skill checks, you want to roll a D100 and get under or equal to your skill. So if I want to roll anthropology, I need to get under or equal to 75. Actually, let's put this at 76 because it starts at 1. So I'll add 75 points to it because that'll be easy to keep track of, which brings this number up to 38. And this one's still at 15. So let's say I was making an anthropology check. I would roll my D100. And I've got an 86. So I failed that actually because it is above my 76. If I got below 76, that would have been a success. If I'd got below half that, so below or equal to 38, that would have been a hard success. And if I had got below or equal to a fifth of that, 15, that would have been an extreme success. And generally you just need a regular success, but some things will need a higher degree of success. This often comes up in combat. That's probably the most common use case, which is based on opposed rolls, and so you want a better degree of success than your opponent. Okay, so that was 75 points in anthropology. What else? History, library use, natural world, other language, own language, psychology, and persuade. So my own language is actually very good. It starts at 90 because I am very educated. So I don't think I need to put any points in that. Let's see. Let's put some points in. Let's put 75 points in history. So history starts at 5%, so that brings my history up to 80%. That's 210 points to go. Next, I think. Let's put 50 points in natural world, which starts at 10%. That's now at 60. I feel I should put something in library use because I'm a professor. It's probably not really going to come up if we're going on an expedition, but I think it would feel too metagamey not to put any points in library use. A professor should have good library use. I have 110 points left to spend. What else have we got? Anthropology we've done, history we've done, libraries we've done. Okay, natural world, other language, own language, psychology, and persuade. So I think it comes down to natural world, psychology, or persuade. I definitely want natural world. I already put points in. Yes, I already put points in natural world. Okay, so I've put points in anthropology, history, library use, natural world. So I don't really other language like French maybe because it's an expedition into Canada. Um, psychology and persuade. I think I'll put 50 each in psychology and persuade. Which gives me 5 more points to put. Sorry, 10 more points to put in something else. I can bump 2 things up by 5. I think I'll go for. Let's have a look at other people's stats. Is anyone like particularly persuasive or good at psychology? Not really. I mean, 60% is pretty good, so I could put all the points in one of them. Might be better to have 70% in one thing than 65 in two things. I don't really know which skill is going to come up more. Let's put the extra 10% in persuade. Let's make all this text bold so it's a little bit easier to read. Okay. And next I have 180 points of personal interest skills, which I can put wherever I want, but it does suggest firearms, rifle, shotgun, navigate, pilot, boat, and survival, woodland. Those all sound like super useful skills for an expedition. I could just split the 180 points evenly and put 45 in each of those. Again, I don't really know what's going to be most useful. Yeah, let's have a look at everyone else. So Sylvia is okay at rifle shotgun. I guess pilot boat and survival woodland are probably the most important. Let's look at what the set of skills is like. Okay, our guide is very good at survival woodland and pretty good at pilot boats. So I maybe don't need to be so good at survival woodland. I feel I probably do want to be good at pilot. Dang, if the guide is lost, that means everything goes terribly wrong. I'm gonna put 50 points each in pilot boat and survival woodland. So I'll bring my survival woodland up to 60. My pilot boat is at 51. And it leaves me 80 points to spend, so my firearms rifle shotgun is 25. I do want to be able to shoot out better than that. And my navigate is 10. Okay, I'll put the remaining 40 each in these. So my rifle shotgun, that's going to go up to 65. And my navigator's going to go up to 50. Oops, not 0. 5-0. Okay, that's our skill points allocated for Dr. Nadelman. Let's check I've not missed anything. Yep, that's all the skill points. There are some special rules it mentions here for falling unconscious, for suffering temporary insanity, for suffering indefinite insanity, or for suffering permanent insanity. It does say these references are included in your character sheet, but I had a look and I couldn't see those anywhere. But I don't think it's too challenging to remember there's special rules, and I have them listed here. I've got a second tab open with the page, so it should be easy to refer to. We've got the rules for spending luck points, so I start with 85 luck. I can spend these points 1 for 1 to improve a dice roll. That may be useful. It uses the regular combat rules and the regular insanity rules. And I think that's it in terms of mechanics. So we've got this intro. I think we've mostly summarized before. So I, Dr. Elsie Nadelman, have long been fascinated by the prehistory of North America, particularly the big woods of the north, the Canadian wilderness, with its tales of terrifying demons and exotic fantasies. But the time is right to bring a rigorous academic perspective to the big woods. The truth hidden there is doubtless more fascinating than any traveller's yarn. I'm not sure about that. I think stories can be pretty fun. For over a year, you have petitioned your department to finance a modest summer exploratory trip into Canada's Northwest Territories. Now, at last, your funding has been approved, and you make your preparations to leave by the end of the spring semester. Many of your graduate students are eager to go, but you can take only 3. The rest of them will be spared. I have chosen to explore the valley of the North Hanana. In the local dialect, Hanana means the river of magic power. It's said to be haunted by invisible presences and bloodthirsty headhunters. A part of the valley where a party of prospectors were found beheaded is still known as Headsman's Glen. We take the train into northwest Canada, and then board a chartered launch to Great Slave Lake, and then down the Mackenzie to Fort Macdonald. An outpost of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police represents the sole power of civilization amidst many thousands of square miles of mountains, lakes, taiga, and swamp. So we are on our own if bad things happen. That's just what you want from a Call of Cthulhu scenario. Fort Macdonald is a trading post for trappers and natives. There is a route upstream by canoe. We've got a canoe along with all of our gear. Officials tell you that guides are reluctant to venture into the North Hanana. The local people have shunned the region, and most of the white men who have dared to trespass upon the river of magic power never returned. Still, you locate a tough professional guide named Charlie Foxtail. She narrows her eyes upon hearing of your destination, but is persuaded by the high wages you're offering. Finally, all is ready to go. So, I guess just to preface this, I don't know anything about Canadian folklore at all, really. I know that this adventure has something to do with Wendigos, because that is what I do know. In fact, it even says in this little section here about entitled "A Change of Name" that it was originally called "Alone Against the Wendigo," but that and some other things were renamed to not use a culturally significant term. So all I know about Wendigos is how they are presented in Cthulhu stuff and in the excellent Algernon Blackwood story, The Wendigo. I have no idea how close this is to real mythology. I suspect not very. But we'll see. Also, The Wendigo, the book, is free now. It's in the public domain. You can find it on Project Gutenberg, so go read it if you've not read it. It's a very good story. Anyway, all that aside, let's get to it. So this is the structure of the adventure itself. It is a huge list of numbered prompts. It looks like 110 pages-ish of prompts, where each one has a kind of bit of narrative, and then possibly a decision to make, possibly some dice to roll, and we kind of progress through the story that way. Obviously, this is a very different sort of solo game to like 1,000-Year-Old Vampire, where you have the prompts that you can write whatever you want. They're much more vague, or like The One Ring or Iron Sworn or anything, where you're kind of using the rules to generate a story. This is basically a choose-your-own adventure book. So I'm kind of interested to see how flexible it is, or whether it feels kind of confining, given that everything I can do has to be listed on the page, and you can never fully predict what the players will do. But we'll see. So, after a few days on the west branch of the Mackenzie, the stuffy corridors of Miskatonic University seem very far away. Sun stipples the water from the glare of midday to the gentle burn of sunsets. Caribou gaze at you from the shore. Ahead, a heron drags an unfortunate stickleback from the shallows. It would feel like a vacation, were it not for the relentless demand of the paddle. Each day makes the students more adept at keeping time with you and Charlie. Your supply of gasoline is limited, so you run the outboard motor as seldom as possible. Sun and wind grants Bernard the outdoor complexion he desires. You locate the tributary one evening just as the light begins to fail. Next day, you launch into the North Hanna. The Ram Mountains loom in the distance through a heat haze. At this latitude, the summer nights are so short that the darkness gives the waterways no time to cool. Norman wipes sweat from the back of his head. The North Hanna is a rougher river than the West Branch. Its floodplain is obscured by sandbars, hills of driftwood, shingle islands, and forests of dead trees rooted in the mud. The current points all of them downstream, like arrows warning you to turn back. That feels... So, because I was thinking of The Wendigo by Algernon Blackwood, this river where things look like arrows warning you to turn back puts me in mind of another Algernon Blackwood story, The Willows, where some people go canoeing, I believe it is, down the Danube, and things go bad. But this isn't the Danube, this is the North Hanna. Sylvia turns to your guide. Charlie, do your people live in this area? Charlie grunts and watches the water. For a moment, it seems she will not answer. Then she looks at Sylvia. At one time. Now, only outcasts. We'll avoid them. Sylvia frowns. Why are they... But Charlie raises a hand. From ahead, slowly building, you hear the roar of rushing water. This is the place of the splitting water, she says. Here the river is alive. Every day it makes itself new. Make a luck roll. If you succeed, go to 2. If you fail, go to 3. But before I do that, I'm just wondering... Is the North Hanna actually a place? Or have they totally made it up for the adventure? It looks like, unless I've misspelled it, yeah, it looks like it is totally made up. There's a North Nahani, which is in Canada. Okay. In the Northwest. Okay, so they've kind of taken a kind of Canadian-style word and used that to produce a fictional location. Makes sense? Right, okay, a luck roll. I have 85 luck. I'm feeling successful at this. Let's see. I rolled a 3. That is an extreme success. I am so lucky. If you succeed, go to 2. 2. The expedition spends the day working through a baffling network of waterways. Sometimes you are forced to back down impassable channels to find an easier way. Sometimes you blunder across the heads of powerful chutes and are swept along with them. At certain points, your party has to wade in waist-deep water, inching the craft along by hand. You pass labyrinths of wooded islands, fast water, and drift. Finally, you select a peaceful backwater in which to moor and make camp for the night. Roll 1d10. If the result is even, go to 4. If the result is odd, go to 5. That is a 0. That is even. Go to 4. You take first watch that night, while the others sleep after an exhausting day. The brief darkness is disturbed by the splash of beavers in the stream, the trilling of insects, and the hoot of a great grey owl. I've never seen a beaver in real life. Beavers seem pretty neat. Make a listen roll. If you succeed, go to 9. If you fail, go to 8. Okay. How good am I at listening? I only have the base 20% in listen. Was that one I missed putting points in? Let's just have a quick look. Oh, I could have put personal interest skills in that, but I didn't. And I can't get someone else to roll listen because they're all asleep, so... I just looked ahead at number 5, the other option I could have got if I'd rolled an odd number, and it says your first night passes without mishap, so I think this listen roll is going to be bad. Okay. I've got a roll, and I want to get 20% or less, and I could spend luck on this if I wanted to, but let's see. That is a 57. I am not spending 37 points of luck on that. Okay. If you fail, go to 8. You hear nothing to disturb your watch. At midnight, you yawn and cross the tiny circle of firelight where Bernard Epstein sleeps, whispering to wake him up. When the student makes no sound, you probe the shadows with the toe of your boot. You feel only sandy soil beneath the empty blankets. Concerned, you repeat Bernard's name, louder. The other members of your party scramble out of their bedrolls, bleary and asking questions. "Be silent!" barks Charlie. She takes a brand from the campfire and holds it aloft, passing it over the ground surrounding Bernard's blankets. She pauses. The brand trembles in her brown, leathery fist. Even your amateur eye can spot the marks impressed into the earth. You ask Charlie if they're the tracks of a raccoon. "Not a raccoon," the guide whispers in an odd tone. She says no more. Can you convince her to open up? Okay, we've already lost Bernard. Let's cross him out. I hope he didn't have any useful skills. What was he good at? He's pretty good at climbing. And navigating. Hopefully we don't need to do either of those things. Goodbye, Bernard and fiancé. Let's just scribble him out. Oh, the wedding's going to be awkward, I suppose. There we go. Gone. Okay, make a persuade roll. I'm pretty good at persuade. I'm a fairly persuasive person. I put points into that. I have a 70% chance. Certainly much better at persuading than I am at listening. It's a miracle they put such an awful listener on watch at all. That is a 33. Okay. Doesn't matter, but that would have been a hard success. Okay, if you succeed, go to 14. I succeeded. Your gentle persistence breaks down Charlie's reserves. "Puck woogies," she murmurs. "The little ones of the night. They do bad magic, turn invisible, and walk through stone. Once, my father saw a puck woogie. The night a child vanished from our village. Around the cabin were tracks like these." Charlie tails off, staring into the past. It seems best to call for action. You instruct the party to fetch weapons, stay together, and begin a search for Bernard. Charlie snaps back to the present. Make a track roll for Charlie. If she succeeds, goes to 23. If she fails, goes to 24. Okay, our guide is a good tracker. I think. 80% track. Ah, perfect. We're going to find Bernard, no problem. I'm sure he just wandered off in the night, and he was not spirited away by anything terrible. 15. Nice. She succeeded, so I go to 23. Following subtle signs, Charlie leads your party along muddy ravines, over stony moraine ridge. What is a moraine ridge? Okay, an accumulation of unconsolidated debris. So, okay. Yep, this this sort of thing. Very pleasant to be walking at night. Okay. Charlie leads your party along muddy ravines, over stony moraine ridges, and through silent strands of red pine. The air is damp and musty with the smell of decaying wood. The coiled new leaves of lady ferns thrust up in thickets along your route, opening like fingers from unclenching fists. Charlie sees it first and freezes. Sylvia gives a shrill scream. Bernard dangles between two small aspens to which his wrists are tied. His head is nowhere to be seen. It has been cleaved off at the shoulders. The stories about this river, Norman hisses. They're true. We must get out of this valley, Charlie declares. We must go, or we will die like him. To insist on seeking Bernard's killers, go to 137. To retreat from the valley, go to 32. So at a metagame level, retreating from the valley would be boring. That's kind of the end of the adventure, and we've only been doing this for 10 minutes. But it maybe makes sense to retreat and get help. I'm not going to go for it, though. I think Professor Nadelman isn't convinced there are puckwoogies here. He thinks it's some sort of murderer. Mad beheading guy. So I think we must seek Bernard's killers. Surely there is a trail we can follow. Go to 137. Why did the page shrink when I clicked that link? Okay, 137. Without warning, Charlie raises her rifle and trains it on you. You do not listen. Your kind never listens. Die if you must. I will take no part of it. She runs to the canoe, throws in some supplies, and shoves off. Okay, Okay, but it sounds like we walked quite a way. So I thought we'd left the canoe behind. I guess maybe she just like runs off back in the direction of camp. But this is not a great scene. So we find Bernard's body strung up in a tree. We say we need to follow his killers. We can't just like leave my student headless here. And our guide abandons us and takes the canoe. Not great. We're down 2 characters already. Let's scribble out our guide. They're not actually dead, so I'll just mark them with I won't mark them as red. Let's go for a nice violet. Okay. Bernard is dead and Charlie has abandoned us, and with Charlie gone, we've lost our good tracking and stealth and woodland survival and all that good stuff. Oh well. How bad can it be? We've still got 2 students left. Right, okay. So it says record the keyword barefoot. Let's put notes up here. Make that big. Okay, barefoot. To track Bernard's killers, go to 87. To give up and try to take your remaining charges out of this evergreen wasteland on foot, go to 324. We're going to keep trying to track Bernard's killers. So let's jump back to 87. We're not giving up on Bernard just because, well, Bernard's killers, just because our guide has abandoned us. The vast woodland confronts you. Can you read what it conceals? Make a track roll. Uh-oh. I have no track. Do either of my surviving students? Okay. Norman Faulkner, it is entirely down to you with your 15% in track. You know, when I played Alone Against the Flame, I seem to recall there was kind of a bit of an investigatory phase before stuff started getting bad. But it seems with this adventure, things went downhill immediately. Yeah, that's 55. We have failed. Let's go to 58. You're not quite the woods person you thought you were. Yeah, Norman, you're not quite the woods person I thought you were. You lose the threads of Burned's trail and unable to pick them up again. You have to accept the situation. You have lost your guide, your canoe, and one of your young chargers. You still have the option of trying to accomplish something towards your original mission. To search for Bernard at random, go to 59. To continue the expedition, go to 75. To return to civilization, go to 54. I feel we can't give up on Bernard. We're going to search for him at random. So, 59. You pick up a trail of tiny footprints. They look very fresh. Make a stealth roll for the party member with the lowest skill. Okay, I have 40. Sorry, Norman has 40 stealth. Other student, Sylvia has 40 stealth. I have 20 stealth. Excellent. Let's unstealthily follow the footprints of possibly the person who beheaded a student and strung him up in a tree. 80. Oh well. If failed, go to 85. Might need to do a second run of this if this is going badly quickly. Oh, something has gone wrong here. Bernard yelps in alarm. No, he doesn't, because he's dead. We've seen his body. Okay, let's backtrack and figure out where we were. He was beheaded. Can I find okay, he was like strung up in some pines. I should have noted down the prompts I was coming from. Where? Okay, let's just go back to the beginning and flip through this again. I must have taken a wrong turn if it's now saying that Bernard is alive. Okay, so I succeeded that roll. I went to 2. I then went to 4. I then went to 8. I went to 14. To 23. Yes, we find Bernard. Oh, aspens, not pines. We find Bernard. And then goes to 137. We insisted on following, so we went back to 87. We failed the track, so we go back to 58. We searched at random. Well, okay. So, let's have a look. 87. Comes from 100. 137 is definitely, we insisted on following his track. And that definitely came from 23. Yeah, so Bernard is definitely dead. 137. 87. 58. 59. 85. Okay, we've broken the scenario. Somehow. Bernard yelps in alarm. You turn towards the shout and see him in the grip of imp-like men whose figures are but shadows under the big trees. One of them flashes a blade. I mean, this is obviously wrong because we've seen Bernard's headless body. I suppose we've seen a headless body. It might actually not have been Bernard's, but the book said it was Bernard's. So this feels wrong. Well, okay, let's continue and see what happens. To shoot at the tiny men, go to 135. The night erupts with gunfire. Each of your party who has a rifle may fire at normal range using the appropriate firearm skill. Everyone makes an attempt to dex roll. This success, then we make a second shot. If your party scores 2 hits, go to 202. If they score less, go to 201. Okay, right. Let's make firearms rolls. So I have a 65. That is a success. Let's make that dex check and see if I make a second shot. What was that? That's 60. What is my dex? Okay, I get to make a second shot. That is 74, so I only managed 1 shot. What about Sylvia? Yep, she has a 40. That's a 38. She hit. Okay, that's 2 hits. We scored at least 2 hits, so we go to 202. If the actual number of hits matters, we can keep rolling. You hurry from cover and put the last mortally wounded man out of his misery. The others cut Bernard free. Goes to 131. Okay, we have seen Bernard dead, but also saved his life. I hope this gets explained. And if it doesn't, it's just a bug. Whoa, what? You try to get... Was that the right one? Where were we? We were at 202. Let's go to 131. You try to contain your disappointment as your group swiftly relocates. Trying to leave as little of a trail as possible. Disappointment is an odd emotion to feel after saving Bernard's life, after we thought we saw his headless body. Okay, let's keep going. Make a luck roll. That's a success. Succeed goes to 195. Party stealthiness remain unnoticed by the small grey figures. To head backwards to civilization, go to 158. To press forward, go to 604. I'm feeling kind of lost in this scenario. Like, the things I'm rolling don't really make sense. I'm inclined to... I could go back to civilization and then start another run. And hopefully it would make sense next time. But let's press forward and see what happens. Go to 604. It's pretty close to the end. Though these prompts are very non-linear. "604. You contemplate possible routes with your students. If you have the keyword Inchcape, go to 158. To explore a nearby canyon, go to 90. To follow the river, go to 60. Use the mountains as a landmark, go to 56. To gain elevation where you can, go to 552. To explore the deep woods, go to 461. Let's use the mountains as a landmark. Actually, no, let's just gain elevation where we can. 552. You pause to get your bearings. Go to 553. Forced uphill by the sloughs along the riverside, the 4 of you laboriously hack through brambles and thicket. As your group passes close to the lip of a slope, Bernard catches your elbow. "Look there, Professor," he says. From your lofty perspective, you gaze down and gasp. Record the keyword tangent. Okay, barefoot and tangent. Then go to 448. Astonishing! Who would have expected to see such a thing in this primitive land? It is a gigantic circle, over 200 feet in circumference, made of boulders and huge slabs of limestone, placed with great engineering skill to form a wheel. From the center of the wheel, 28 stone spokes radiate in precision to a well-defined perimeter. At the center of the structure is what appears to be a small ceremonial building shaped like a beehive. Your dizziness increases as you slide down the slope and cross the outer ring of stones. You begin to hear ringing in your ears and a roll like the crash of distant waves, like the strike of mighty thunderbolts upon echoing mountainsides. Sylvia grips your arm. Professor, she says, don't go in there. She looks like she might vomit. Ah, yes, as we all know, primitive Canadians can't make circles. Do I want to approach the building or try to head back? Let's ride the lightning. Let's approach the building. Fascinated, you shake off Sylvia and approach the little building. 3 of its sides feature a narrow, arched door. You step inside. Your head swims from the aura of the place. You feel an incredible mental surge as a tide of towering perceptions penetrate the tiny confines of your skull. Let's just uncross out Bernard, because he is somehow back alive again. Okay. Make both a sanity and a power roll. Okay, my sanity is 80. I'm super sane. I passed that so well. And a power roll. My power is also 80. I passed that as well. I'm too sane and too powerful. Now go to 450. Well, that's not a friendly illustration. The phenomenon is incredible. It is as if you stand in a high window from which you see the crashing waves of past, present, and future all breaking upon one another. Oh, that's from the mental surge. The towering perceptions penetrating my skull. Yes, makes sense. Below all the chaos, there are streams of sense of real information. As you stand reeling, you try to attune yourself to these streams and let the knowledge fill your tormented mind. Then you see ancient days, this place, a race of tall, lean, grey-skinned, cruel-faced men. They are not of the first people. They are older, terribly old. They have a name. Kwanema. Oh, Kwanema. Their spirit is upon the land. They rule for antiquity. This continent is theirs. They defend it with mighty magic, awesome powers. The ships of Atlantis burn. The hosts of Mu can gain no foothold. The world has 3 powers, and the Kwanema are not the least. Oh, evil, dark is the night of the sway of the Kwanema. They have gods. They sacrifice to awful gods. Rebethoth, Yog-Sothoth, Zathog, Shub-Niggurath, names from Nightmare. To each is built a temple. In the great heart of their domain, a temple like a wheel of stone, a temple of the great Wind Waker, Ea Ithaqua, Eyaya, Eyaya, Nga Nga, Huyu. Gain 5 points of Cthulhu Mythos. Nice. It lowers my max sanity by 5. Max sanity goes down. It was on. My max sanity was max sanity starts at 99. So let's just copy a number up here. My max sanity is now 94. To leave the temple and return to your group, go to 532. If you wish to stay and learn more, make a sanity roll and a power roll with a penalty die. If you fail the sanity roll, go to 451. I feel I kind of want to do a second run of this adventure and try to hit a sequence of events that actually makes sense. So I'm going to leave it because I feel we'll likely be back here again, and I can explore further on the second run. So I'm going to leave, which means I go to 532. Your party hurries from the megalithic wheel and hastens back to the riverside. If you have the keyword barefoot, which I do, go to 458 if your party still has 5 members, or 424 if you have lost someone. I have lost someone. I have lost my tracker. Interesting, so that implies you can get the barefoot tag without losing the tracker. So maybe something can happen to the canoe if you go through other routes. Okay. 424. You pause at the riverside. Can you justify pressing onto the wilderness without Charlie Foxtail? I think I can. Like, she's abandoned us. To continue, go to 89. To turn back, go to 158. I'm going to continue. So that's 89. Your students grumble. There is some talk about turning back. You sit down with them, talk about the harsh realities of the field and how no significant discovery was ever made by an expedition that lacked courage. In time, they agree to continue. Maybe I looked at the wrong one. Maybe continue was continue into the wilderness, but I wanted to turn back. Let's have a look where this goes, but I might need to backtrack here. I passed that luck roll, so it goes a 90. Yeah, I interpreted it wrong. So continue was not continue along the path I was taking, it was continue into the wilderness. So yes, after a long walk, you discover the canyon ends at a rock wall. However, a stream pours from a fissure in the wall. Once you draw close, you glimpse a large valley beyond. The current is rather swift, but it may be possible to wade through to the other side. To attempt to pass through the fissure goes to 90. You want to head back to Fort McDonald, go to 158. Let's just backtrack to where we came from, which was 424. Oh, yeah, 158. You and your students contemplate your trek back to Fort McDonald. There are many possible routes. If any of your party requires healing, nope. To follow the river, go to 60. To gain elevation where you can, go to 552. To the mountains as a landmark, go to 56. Okay, so it's kind of offering the same choices as before. Let's follow the river, because the river is how we got here in the first place. Let's go back to 60. The North Hananah runs through sheer chasms and uncrossable sloughs. Your party is forced inland several times, and you risk losing the river. On the second evening, your march stops at a well-drained knoll, where you pitch camp and take Bernard off to hunt. I'm still surprised, or still not sure about Bernard. Like, that must have been a bug in the scenario, right? That we saw Bernard's headless body, and now we've got Bernard back. I was kind of expecting him to be revealed as a shapeshifter or something, but that doesn't seem to be happening. While stalking a snowshoe hare under a mossy rock shelf, you hear a growl above and to your left. Foam oozing from its jaws, a wolverine leaps straight for your companion. Make a firearms and rifle shotgun roll. I'm okay at that. I have a 65. I passed that. If you hit, go to 88. The wolverine squeals as your bullet rips through its side. Missing Bernard by inches, the beast lands hard and squirms in the litter of brown pine needles. You draw the student away. Has this near tragedy made you rethink your strategy? To head back to civilization, go to 232. To push ahead, go to 604. What do you mean rethink my strategy? My strategy is to get back. I'm pushing ahead to civilization, I suppose, which is 232. Yeah, I feel this scenario is a little bit off. The way home is much more taxing on a guide or canoe. Yep, I know. Make a luck roll. That's a success. Yep. Go to 158. Haven't I already been to 158? I've gone in a loop. Okay. Why is there a loop? So I went to 60. I made the shots, which took me to 88. I'm heading back to civilization. And I succeeded the luck. Oh, sorry, no, I clicked the wrong thing. If you fail, go to 158. I succeeded. Takes to 513. It is now time to decide the course of your expedition. Fort MacDonald lies within your reach, and you may go there to end your experience in the North Canada. If you still have an appetite for exploration, no, I don't. My guide has left me. We don't have a canoe. Our supplies were presumably in the canoe. So to return to Fort MacDonald, go to 593. You pass the place of splitting water with no particular difficulty and reach the calmer waterways of the West Branch. The foraging is ample now, and you recover strength as you draw near to Fort MacDonald. Go to 433. After so many days in the river and nights in the woods, it feels strange to sit in a stifling room and answer questions about your conduct. If you have lost any members of your party or have confirmed their death, multiply the number of such losses by 15. This is your liability score. Roll 1d100. If the result is greater than your liability score, go to 530. If it's less than your liability score, go to 531. Okay, if you have lost any members of your party or have confirmed their death, multiply. Okay, right, yes. Okay, so I've lost one member of my party, Charlie, who has abandoned me. I feel I haven't really lost Charlie. Charlie lost us. Charlie chose to leave. Let's roll and see what happens. That's a 58. We have rolled greater than our liability score. Go to 530. When your report of your party's misfortunes is analysed by the Canadian authorities, they absolve you of any wrongdoing or neglect. Go to 529. You must decide what to announce. The primary results of your expedition in the Valley of the North Helena. The other discoveries can wait. Okay, so I did find a thing which gave me the keyword tangents. However, that doesn't look relevant here. If you have either the keyword charcoal or the keyword resonate, or both, go to 545. If you have the keyword Inchcape, go to 431. If you have more than one of those, you have the opportunity to review each option before making a choice. If you have none of them, go to 430. So I guess finding a strange temple thing doesn't, and having a vision of the past doesn't matter here. Even before arriving back in Arkham, you know your lack of hard evidence will undermine your credibility. I didn't lose any of the graduate students, so I go to 33. Although your expedition has failed to produce any hard evidence, your reputation is such that Miskatonic University does not hold it against you. However, as the Great Depression sets in, you find it more difficult to fund new projects. The bizarre stories you have to tell of the North Helena are greeted with enthusiasm by the sensationalist press, but skepticism by your colleagues. As things go, your career managed to survive your Helena experience. The Nadelman expedition is over. The end. Okay. Well, something definitely went wrong in the sequence of events here. So Bernard was spirited away on the first night, and we found his headless body. But then, while searching for him, we found him alive and well, and this was never resolved at all. I feel that was a bug. So I think we should try this again, and hopefully don't encounter a similar situation this time. Okay, let's reset my character sheet. So my max sanity is back at 99. I don't have any Cthulhu Mythos. I could adjust my skills. And we have our guide Charlie back. Let's see. I have learned that listen is a useful skill, so maybe I will actually put some points in that. So I have to take some points away from firearms, navigate, pilot, and survival. I mean, navigate didn't come up at all. Maybe it would have done if through another sequence of events. Track is also a thing that's possibly useful. I'm going to take 10 points out of survival and add them to listen. So I have a 30 in listen. So survival drops down to 50. Oops. And listen is going to jump up to 30. Which is still quite bad, but it's better than 20. Let's see. Do I want to change anything else? Not really. I think everything else is kind of okay. Okay. Let's try this again. And hope that this time it makes sense. And also somehow lasts 2 hours. We're only an hour into the stream. So, to recap, we are playing Dr. Nadelman, who is an academic at Miskatonic University and has managed to get funding for a small trip into Canada, into the Northwest Territories. Along with us are 3 graduate students. We have Sylvia Davidson from a prominent family, though the first to study at a postgraduate level, and on track to having a junior position at the department. We have Norman Faulkner, a mature student, who we have brought along because he is reliable and calm. And Bernard Epstein, a guy who is fated to die near the beginning. Well, likely to die near the beginning, as we have discovered, because all he cares about really is his upcoming wedding to his sweetheart, and I'm invited to the wedding. So obviously setting a death flag there. Those are our 3 students, and we have a native guide, Charlie Foxtail, who left her village and is working as a guide to save up money to send her bedridden husband for medical care. That is our intrepid party of adventurers. And we are going to the North Hanana region, which we have determined is fictional, but probably inspired by this North Nahani, as the name is pretty similar and it's in the Northwest Territory. Which is known as the River of Magic Power. All sorts of strange tales about the place, including headhunters, people who have been found dead. But we think there is something there beyond the myths, something real and exciting. So let's begin. I'm not going to read all the prompts I've already read out in full, so I'll just summarize things. So we spent a few days on the west branch of the Mackenzie. It's very sunny, it's very warm. There's caribou on the shore, there's fish in the waters, there's birds. We are spending most of our time paddling rather than using the motor, as there's nowhere to refuel out here, obviously. And one evening, just as the light begins to fail, we find the tributary of the North Hanana, the river we're trying to get to, and we move on to that the next day. There's mountains in the distance. It's summer. The nights are really short. It's just warm and sweaty. but probably quite nice looking, really. It's all, arboreal forest. Got a nice creepy bit of foreshadowing here. The North Hanna is a rougher river than the West Branch. Its floodplain is obstructed by sandbars, hills of driftwood, shingle islands, and forests of dead trees rooted in the mud. The current points all of them downstream, like arrows warning you to turn back. Which feels very, very in the vein of the willows by Algernon Blackwood. Sylvia turns to your guide. Charlie, do your people live in this area? Charlie grunts and watches the water. For a moment it seems she will not answer. Then she looks at Sylvia. At one time. Now, only outcasts. We will avoid them. Sylvia frowns. Why are they? But Charlie raises a hand. From ahead, slowly building, you hear the roar of rushing water. This is the place of splitting waters, she says. Here, the river is alive. Each day it makes itself new. Okay, make a luck roll. So we passed this last time. What's going to happen this time? Actually, I could... Given I've already seen the success result here, I'm kind of inclined to fail it. Get a new result. Let's roll for it and see what happens. There's a 72. We pass. The expedition spends the day working through a baffling network of waterways. I see, I was just looking ahead at the other options and then they kind of actually loop back to 2. Okay, the expedition spends the day working through a baffling network of waterways. Sometimes you are forced to back down impassable channels to find an easier way. Sometimes you blunder across the heads of powerful chutes and are swept along with them. At certain points, your party has to wade in waist-deep waters, inching the craft along by hand. You pass labyrinths of wooded islands, fast water, and drift. Finally, you select a peaceful backwater in which to moor and make camp for the night. Roll a d10. If it is even, go to 4. If it is odd, go to 5. That is odd. That's a different result from last time. Nice. It is odd, go to 5. Your first night along the North Hanna passes without mishap. Bernard survived. You must now decide whether to press on hard to penetrate deep into the region or set a more leisurely pace, exploring as you go. We don't really have a specific destination in mind. We're just here to check this place out and see what we can learn. So I think a leisurely pace, exploring as we go, makes sense. Let's turn to 11. A little back from the shore, the faint stench of sulphur wafts out of the mouth of a narrow canyon. You've read about possible hot springs in the Hanna region. It's very tempting to formally discover them. To stop and explore goes to 19, to continue on goes to 20. Let's check out the hot springs. You tie the canoe to the bank and lead your party up the canyon. A warm stream runs along its floor, and the rocks along the edges are heavily caked with precipitated minerals of white, grey, and yellow hues. The further you advance between its narrow banks, the more desolate the scene. The vegetation struggles in youth and goes to an early death. Grey dust coats the brittle sticks of strangled saplings. You kneel over a stone furred with yellow and white crystals and scrape a sample of the deposit into a small glass vial with your hunting knife. You suppose they are nothing remarkable, though this is not your area of expertise. Finally, you snap a few photos of the scene with your box camera. To explore further up the canyon, go to 64. To return to your canoe and continue upriver, go to 20. Let's keep going up canyon. See what we find. We're here, we may as well. Come on, you usher your companions forward. Up ahead, the mineral deposits along the stream are no longer unspoiled. The rocks appear to be stripped of their brimstone and artful vermiculations. What is a vermiculation? A marking made by or resembling the track of a worm. Okay. The more you know. Where were we? 64, yes. Make a listen roll. Okay. I put points in listen. This will be a breeze. 11. Perfect. If you succeed, go to 65. As the wind turns, you catch the sound of humming, as if from a motor. An unlikely prospect considering where you are. You order your party to hold position and work your way up the ravine, cautiously peering around the bend. Make a sanity roll. Okay, I have 80 sanity. I succeeded the sanity roll. If you succeed, go to 114. If I'd failed, I would have lost 1d6 sanity. 114. The sight is incredible. Several human-sized pinkish crustaceans are working mechanical equipment, sweeping the rocks of the stream. The creatures must be intelligent, though they look ugly even for seafood. Fungoid growths bedeck their bodies. Their buzzing is audible over the hum of the mineral-gathering machines. You came to this place looking for unknown races and have been rewarded beyond your wildest dreams. You watch them until your companions get restive. You must decide what to do next. Excellent, we found a Migo mining outpost. Nice. They are known to do that. Gain 2 points of Cthulhu Mythos. Okay. To stand up and greet the alien things, go to 252. If you want to avoid contact, make a stealth roll. I feel I probably don't want to stand up and greet them. That seems kind of suicidal, even for a Lovecraftian academic. So let's try a stealth roll. I am not stealthy. I only have the base 20% in stealth. Yep, I failed that roll. So if you fail, go to 115. Your foot slips on a rock and you plummet face first into thigh-deep water. A sudden silence from the mineral-gathering machines warns you that you have been spotted. You scramble out of the stream and dash back to your comrades, shouting, "Run for it!" Go to 143. A streak of cold stabs past you, leaving a frosty mist in the air like a flashlight beam through fog. Even the near miss leaves a rime of frosty needles on your cheek and hair. You throw a quick glance over your shoulder and see the pink creatures with objects of twisted metal in their claws, evidently weapons. Norman and Sylvia have made it to the safety of the bend ahead. That leaves you, Bernard, and Charlie to get clear, but the track is wide open and you are too far behind. Wow, this is a really lethal adventure. Your companions can be taken away by little men in the night. You can be find and be killed by Migo. There's presumably a Wendigo somewhere. Okay, make a dodge roll. Dodge is half dex. Let's note that down. So what is my dex? My dex is okay, 70. That's not amazing. Ah, that's a 31. I dodged it. If you succeed, make a dodge roll for Charlie and Bernard. Okay. So Sylvia has made it out. Norman has made it out. We've got Charlie and Bernard. Let's start with Bernard. His dodge is 30. He didn't make that. And Charlie has a dodge of 27. That's a 69, which is not nice in this scenario. If both fail, go to 150. Twin cries from the rear let you know that both Bernard and Charlie have been hit. You throw a quick glance over your shoulder. Bernard is down, and Charlie manages only a couple more steps before collapsing. Behind them, the creatures swarm. To turn back to help them, go to 332. To race on alone, go to 151. How heroic is my character. Let's look at a bit about their personality. Oh, I also don't have these anymore. I'm a rising star. My theories are exciting. Students idolize me. People take me out for dinner. That doesn't really help answer whether I'm heroic or not. I'm just gonna roll a die. Odds I'm heroic, even I'm not. I'm heroic. Okay, to help them, go to 332. You run right into a blast of cosmic cold. You collapse to the ground, too stiff to shiver. From the position where you lie, you see the many-legged creatures with their weird weapons scuttling like giant spiders from the bush. Then darkness. Go to 417. Well, that was a bad idea. Oh no. A faint light bathes your closed eyelids. You hear garbled sounds. Your whole body seems prickled with discomfort. It takes an effort to open your eyes. For an instant, what you see makes no sense. Diseased-looking fungoid things, pinkish creatures with tentacles and claws. Pinkish things with tentacles and claws extending from their thoraxes. Several of them scuttle around the field of your vision. Terror shapes a scream in your mouth, but it makes no sound. You cannot even feel air moving in and out of your lungs. Abruptly, you realize that you don't have any lungs, nor any body, just phantom pains. You can see your body discarded on the ground nearby. It has no head. You are its head. You are clamped in a box with tubes running into your neck. The alien monsters must want to preserve your living brain. Plunging into madness, you try to scream again. One of the creatures shuts the lid of the box that contains you, blocking out all lights. The Nadelman expedition is over. The end. That was even less successful than the last run. At least last time we made out alive. Now, 3 of us are brains in vats. Or heads in vats. Let's backtrack. I believe we're on 332. Which came from one of these. I can't remember which. Was it 150? Yeah. Let's say that was a flash of incredible foresight, and we are instead actually not going to do that. So we're going to race on alone. You catch up with Norman and Sylvia and cut into the woods. Finally, the three of you pause for breath. Norman stares at you as he leans against the tree. What were those things, Professor? What happened to Bernard and Charlie? To circle back, try to find out what happened to your missing comrades, go to 152. Yeah, let's do that. Although I'm pretty sure I know what's happened to them. You lead your companions back toward the bizarre miners. Your route is blocked by a strange procession snaking its way through the jack pines and raspberries. To your astonishment, you see a band of tiny grey-skinned men led by a Caucasian crone dressed in an old deerskin robe. The procession forms a circle and commences a shuffling dance. It begins to chant. One of the pink-tentacled miners emerges from the woods, carrying Bernard's severed head. The old woman takes it, lifts it high, cackles an invocation to the gods. Now more of the pink fungoid creatures come sailing out of the sky. You whisper your companions to close their eyes, but it's too late for you. Okay, Bernard is dead. Let's cross him out. Charlie's probably dead, so let's cross them off as well. We've not seen their body, but they've been taken. Okay, gain 2 points of Cthulhu Mythos and make a sanity roll. Let's get some. I've now got 4 Cthulhu Mythos. I'm so smart. So I should be decreasing my max sanity here. It's 95 now. Okay, make a sanity roll. But my sanity is actually still 80. I've not lost any sanity points yet. Yep, that is a success. If you succeed, go to 173. I don't lose any sanity points for seeing the severed head. It was 173, right? Yes. Okay. The abominable ritual below holds a strange fascination, but you do not feel entirely in control of yourself. To keep watching, go to 253. To flee, go to 250. I think it's time to flee. We've just seen them carrying out the head of one of our students. Gotta get out of here while we can. The area is thick with horrors. Make a stealth roll for each member of your party. That feels unlikely to succeed. Normally, for group rolls, you roll the score of the lowest person. But if you roll for everyone, that you're much more likely to fail there. So I don't have much hope here. Yes, I failed my stealth roll. Okay. If anybody fails, go to 247. With the hunting cries of the little people audible in the distance, the three of you run through endless strands of virgin timber. You must disguise your trail to avoid capture. Now I make a stealth roll, just the one. Oh, well, someone makes a stealth roll. Who is anyone better at stealth? Yes, that's a 40. Okay, we'll have whoever this is. Sylvia can make a stealth roll here. She succeeded. I would have failed. If you succeed, go to 53. You realize how ill-prepared you were for the menaces of the North Hanna. Your only hope is to escape it as soon as possible. Go to 324. You and the two students travel over trackless woods on short rations. From day to day, the air cools as the short summer declines into the rugged subarctic autumn. Really? It's taking that long to get out of here? No one requires healing. If we're running low on supplies, I guess we should concentrate on that. So that is a luck roll, which I have an 80... a 65. Ooh, 65. I may have been misreading my luck as 85 all this time. Oh well. Oh, no, I'm looking at someone else's character sheet, aren't I? Yes, my luck is 85. Okay, I succeeded on that luck roll. If you succeed, go to 654. By a stroke of luck, your party stumbles upon an abandoned cabin stocked with rusty but edible tins of food. This happy discovery solves your food problem for the time being. There is no trace of the person who built the cabin, probably a prospector or hunter who fell victim to the hazards of the valley. You may make an improvements check for your luck score to gain 1d10 luck points. Okay, nice. So the way improvement checks work is you have to roll, and if you fail, you gain points. I succeeded because I'm very lucky, so I don't gain any points. Oh well. Then go to 77. You and the others make your beds in the decrepit shell of the old cabin. These sagging walls afford some shelter from the chilly wind, though the condition of the roof makes you hope it doesn't rain. The frogs are noisy outside, but you think you hear something. You ask for silence and listen. There, the rustle of unsteady feet walking through the dead massing of the forest floor. You tell the students to arm themselves before stepping outside. Your rifle wavers. You see a white man. His beard is wild and greasy. He is naked except for the rags wrapped around his feet and an animal hide tied around his waist. The crazed expression on his face worries you, but he carries no weapon. I can choose to shoot him, or I can help him. I have no reason to shoot this guy. Let's help him to the fire. You urge Sylvie to bring hot soup for the stranger. The hot soup from his own supplies, I suppose. While you stand looking at him, unease builds in your stomach. His face is repulsive and oddly proportioned. Okay, we found an ugly guy. Let's make an anthropology roll, it says, which I have 76 in. I'm pretty good at that. I feel this is a role I want to succeed, so I think I'll spend luck if I fail this. What was that? Oh, that's a 98. Do I want to spend luck? That's a lot. I mean, it's 12. I have 85 luck. I have quite a lot of luck. Yeah, let's spend the luck. So my luck score is going to be 73. Let's put a highlighter on this. There we go. 73 luck. Okay, so that is a success. If you succeed, go to 176. In a flash, you remember the legends of the Windwalker, those who go mad in the Northland and become possessed by cannibal demons of the wind of the wild. You shake your head. You must be going, Wood's happy to consider such nonsense. Wood's happy. At that moment, Sylvie returns from the campfire carrying a bowl of broth for the stranger. He glances into the steaming bowl with a look of disgust and pushes it away, spilling some of the hot stuff on your student's leg. The Windwalker is a creature of ice, you remember. It dares not drink anything so hot as the broth. How dare you get my student's leg hot? To slay the stranger immediately, go to 177. If you need more proof that he's a Windwalker, go to 178. I feel we need more proof. Like, so far we've not actually seen any evidence of Windwalkers out here. We've seen strange creatures that operate mines, but no Windwalkers. Legend says that the Windwalker has strange feet. You let the suspect sleep. When you think he is deep in slumber, you creep towards him. To get the proof you need, you must merely open the bandages and examine his feet, without waking him. Make a sleight of hand... Oh, God. Sleight of hand? I've not got anything in that. That's a 10% chance. 95. Yep. If you fail, go to 80. The man is exhausted, but your clumsy attempt could wake the dead. Roll 1d6 to see what happens. And that's a 3. Go to 219. Your inept fingerwork wakes the sleeper, but not before you've seen the grotesque blackened hooves beneath the rags where his feet should be. He's a Windwalker. The face before you deforms into that of a fiend incarnate. 3 times it belches out a raucous shriek, and at each, the figure grows and changes. With the third cry, it is a human no longer, but a demonic giant of ice and tatters. I can try to fight, or I can try to flee. I think I'm gonna flee. I encountered like 2 monsters in 2 days. My nerves are shaken. You urge your thunderstruck students to flee, but it is too late for them. As you run, you shiver at their cries. Throwing a glance over your shoulder, you see bloodied snow and the Windwalker ripping at their bodies. Your only hope is that the creature will be sated and not pursue you. Okay, let's mark off the other students. They're dead as well. It's not going well for the Nadelman expedition. Okay, a luck roll. This is definitely a roll I want to succeed. I'll be very mad if I roll like 74 to 85, as that would have been a pass before spending the luck. Nope, it's a 90. That would have been a fail anyway. If it fails, go to 304. You race for the cover of the deep woods. The monster follows and is catching up. The big woods are home to its kind. Your only hope is to bury yourself beneath the canopy. Make a stealth roll, which I only have the base 20% in. That's a hard success. I got a 9. If you succeed, go to 336. You run until you fall, utterly spent. When you look back, you hear and see nothing. You're safe for the moment, but now you must face the big woods alone. Go to 67. Despondent over the prospects of a trek through the wildest stretch of the Northwest Territories, you ram your way through the bush with a bitter violence. That doesn't seem the best way to sneak away from something. Thunder rumbles in the western mountains like the echo of distant drums. The peaks fade into a lowering canopy of clouds. You wade a small river and then cross a pine ridge. The scenery blurs together as you go. In the days that follow, you try to fish with your bare hands, to eat whatever you can kill, and take the berries that grow along the way. You're undergoing a test that would daunt a seasoned frontiersman. I don't require healing, that's fine. Make a survival woodland roll. If you succeed, go to 513. If you fail, you have several options. Survival woodland, I put points into that. I have a 50%. That is a 67. Do I want to spend 17 points of luck? I think I do. Because the other options are not great. Go for 50, so bump my luck down to 56. So I succeed, go to 513. There's still a chance I'll die horribly. It's time to decide the course of your expedition. Fort MacDonald lies within your reach, and you may go there to end your experience in the North Canada. If you still have an appetite for exploration, no. Let's return to Fort MacDonald. You pass the place of splitting water with no particular difficulty and reach the calmer waterways of the West Branch. I made it back. You have lost any members of your party or have confirmed their death. Yes, all of them. Multiply the number of such losses by 15. So I've lost 4, so that's a 60. I need to roll to see if I am legally liable for the deaths of my 4 companions. That's a 58. That is equal to or less than my liability score. 531. When your report of your party's misfortunes is analysed by the Canadian authorities, they take you into custody and bring formal charges against you. They seem uninterested in any evidence of your discoveries. That makes sense. Set out into the wilderness with 3 postgraduate students and a guide, and I come back with tales of not 1 but 2 different types of monster having killed them all. I wouldn't believe me either. Go to 538. Your trial lasts weeks, during which every field decision you made is questioned. It's almost a relief when you're convicted of gross negligence and contributory manslaughter. You're incarcerated in a Canadian penitentiary where you become withdrawn and isolated, staring from your cell at distant woodland. A year later, you become eligible for parole, and the committee looks favourable on your conduct. Once you are free to leave Canada, you return to a ruined career in the USA. You have lost your position at the Miskatonic University. The evidence you brought back from your expedition has been neglected during your confinement. All the most important pieces have been lost or ruined. Nevertheless, you attempt to publish your findings. Your article draws only sensational press attacks, characterizing you as a moral cretin, willing to sacrifice human life for scientific glory. You vanish from public notice with the dawning of the Great Depression. The expedition is over. The end. Okay, so I've done 2 runs of this now. Both times have ended horribly. Let's have a short break and then figure out what to do next. I don't really feel like doing a 3rd run. But I do have Alone Against the Flames, so maybe I'll do that. So, yes. I will be back shortly. Okay, I am back. I should make a like be right back scene that I can put up on the screen. Okay, which one did I enjoy the most so far? I think Moria is going the best so far, though. Um, I think the issue is a strong word, but maybe like the issue um, I've been having with Moria is that it doesn't really do much to kind of steer you into like an overarching story. So it's got the stuff to generate missions and to run battles and journeys and stuff. And that's all kind of like small scale stuff. Um, it's not like at the level of an entire story structure. Whereas there are other solar systems like Iron Sworn, for instance, that do kind of try to do some of that. So let's see if I can find the rulebook. The page is a slightly different size. Bear with me while I fiddle with the scene. There we go. That fits, but now I need to make Miro bigger. It's very annoying that PDFs aren't all the same size. Anyway, yeah, so Iron Sworn, I've not played much of, but a bit. One of the things I like about Iron Sworn is that your character, like important things in the campaign are, like your character swears a vow to do a thing, which is kind of like the missions in Moria, right? It's a thing you're doing. But your character starts with a background vow, which is kind of the like overall arc of the campaign, which is good because then if you're not really sure where to, like in what direction to move the story, you can look at your background vow and try to advance that, which I've kind of adopted the idea of in Moria by deciding that my character's overall goal was to recover the Axe of Durin. So yeah, that I was thinking, why does it feel so disjointed? Well, it's because there isn't an overarching theme. Let's add one. So I think I probably will do Iron Sworn or maybe Starforged, which is the space Iron Sworn, after Moria, whenever that finishes. I've also been looking into Mythic, the Game Master emulator, as another potential. I think it might be nice to use this with another system that I'm maybe more comfortable with. So, like for instance, I've run a lot of Call of Cthulhu, so it could be fun to play play Call of Cthulhu with Mythic, and see what happens with that. Yeah, Moria could go on for a long time, but I think with the goal being get the Axe of Durin, that's the end point. We recover the Axe of Durin or die trying, and there's a route to recovering the axe here. So it'll still take a while. There's going to be a bunch of missions and undertakings, but there is a path. I don't really want to just play it until it ends, because that would be playing until Barlin's expedition collapses, which is like 5 years of game time. But yeah, the Axe of Durin is the goal. As for this, Alone Against the Frost, it has felt quite punishing. So I've previously played Alone Against the Flame, which is another one of these like solo Call of Cthulhu adventures. And in Alone Against the Flame, there was a bit of investigation before things started going weird. But with Alone Against the Frost, things just start going wrong immediately. It feels it's not really a mystery. It's more of a survival adventure. which isn't really what I was looking for in a Call of Cthulhu thing. I feel the investigation is an important part of that. So I'm not really sure what this adventure is for, because it's not really like, doesn't really like teach you how to structure a Call of Cthulhu scenario, because you wouldn't really run a scenario like this unless you decided, like, I could see maybe running a scenario like this if you wanted to like close off a campaign with all the play characters dying. Like if you'd all decided, okay, we've kind of had enough of this campaign, let's go out in a blaze of glory, then maybe like a super punishing, everyone goes out into the woods and gets killed by monsters scenario would fit that. But yeah, it is a bit punishing, it feels like. Let's find Alone Against the Flames. Actually, I don't actually like. Is this one actually published by Chaosium? It looks a lot more amateurish, um, and I couldn't see it on the Chaosium website. So I must have got this. I mean, it's got the Chaosium logo on it. I must have found this PDF somewhere. Um, I don't know. It is on the Chaosium. That's a much nicer looking cover than the version I've got. Is there a second version of Alone Against? This is 50 pages. My version is 64 pages. I have no idea what this Alone Against the Flames that I've got is then, as it doesn't look like this one. I wonder if I somehow found like a draft version or something, because this obviously isn't typeset like the main Chaosium stuff. But yeah, I remember I played this some years ago, and see how punishing was this. What was the actual premise of this? Yeah, it's a village with kind of weird stuff going on, but there is kind of wandering around and interacting with NPCs and investigating and stuff, which is kind of what I was expecting would happen in Alone Against the Frost, but no. Anyway, what should I do with the stream now? So only not even 2 hours into it. Um, hmm. Let's consult my RPG PDFs and see if anything springs to mind. I mean, I do have this game about becoming a lich, but I've not actually read it yet. So I was going to read through this first. That was maybe not this one. What is this? Oh, this is just a monster book. It's not a system of any sort. Um, I could maybe run some characters through the Gardens of Yin, which is a like procedural dungeon thing. Yeah, let's try that. Okay, I need to pick a system and roll up some characters for it. I believe there's a random character generator for Old School Essentials. My dice tray is annoyingly in the way here. I'll copy and paste this into Miro. Let's go over here. I need to pick. It'd be nice if it rolled up spells, but it doesn't. So let's pick. There's not a fighter in this band of adventurers. That could be. They do have 3 cleric. Oh, they're level 1 clerics. They don't have spells. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, we have people. So the Gardens of Yin is a kind of procedural adventure where you're exploring some sort of like fairy garden thing. There is a kind of there's like some like lore behind it, but that's not super relevant. Just doing a quick delve. Got very nice art in the book, but it's an interesting scenario like generator thing because the way it works is, if I can find the table somewhere. Yeah, so you keep track of how deep you are in Yin, starting at, it's either level 0 or level 1. I'll look it up in a moment. And you generate locations by rolling a d20 and adding how deep you are. So as you get deeper into Yin, you discover strange things. Like before you're even at level 10, you can't find the splicing vats. You need to get to level 20 to you need to get to level 15 rather to even have a chance of finding the ruins of Yin. And things get stranger as you go, so you roll locations and details. There's random events, different things at daytime and different things at nighttime. And so it is a bunch of rolling, but you kind of generate interesting things as you go. So let's just have a look. Yes, and if you don't get out in 48 hours, you're trapped, but I'm not really going to keep track of time, probably. Okay, so you start at level 0. And I need to roll a location immediately. Okay, let's open a second copy of Yin. I'm gonna have one at the table. Okay, let's see. Where are we? So it's rolling a d20. No modifiers. We've come through the gateway in the orchid houses. has a feature of steel frames. And what else do we roll? Do we roll for random events? No, that's only on subsequent turns. Okay, and let's note down the pages. Orchid houses, page 38. And steel frames, page 72. I'm going to open like 3 more copies of Yin because there'll be a lot of flipping. Okay, let's start by seeing what is at the orchid houses. Orchid houses, like the hot houses. So I guess just to set the scene, the way you get into Yin is you draw a door on a wall. You draw it in chalk, and you write upon that door Yin by way of wherever your current location is. This forms a magic door. You then step through and you get into this strange parallel world, the Gardens of Yin, where things are very strange. Time runs at half the speed, and if you don't get out in one external day, so 48 hours here, you are trapped forever. So, orchid houses, where we have come through our door. Like the hot houses, these glass buildings, possibly steel-framed glass buildings, protect from the weather. Generate where they are all like hot houses. Okay, where's the... I need to turn to the hot houses. Let's open another copy. I have run this before, and what I did then was I actually rolled up several levels of the gardens beforehand because there is a lot of referencing tables. Okay, right, so the generating, you drop dice onto some paper, and that indicates where the houses are. Drop a small handful of dice. That's very vague. Okay. Grab just a few dice of different sorts. What was it? D12s and... Yeah. Yep. Okay, we have a cluster of orchid houses. And what is in our orchid houses? Okay, I see. So all the dice that are even is just orchids. So this one here in this corner, this is just orchids, but the others all have something going on. So what have we got? We have orchids with medicinal properties. We've got rare orchids. We've got pitcher plants, which can attack us. And we've got the other two. So the two D20s, they are sealed from the outside, the door's boarded over. And the inside is dense with greenery trying to get out. Oh, we also have steel frames. So let's see what that is. And jutting from the ground here are huge steel girders, big enough to be the structural supports of some weirdly curved skyscraper, twisted and bent in odd ways, like the hand of God wrung the tower like a towel, and everything but the girders were removed, leaving only the metal frame. So I guess we come through our magic door from the real world, which results in us stepping through a totally like normal door in a wall here, and there's just these kind of like weird curving metal structures with big panes of glass between, like filling in the gaps, and in these panes, beyond these panes of glass, are flowers of various sorts. Some possibly good, some possibly bad. And yeah, so we have gone deeper. So does that mean we then roll for events? No. We've not gone deeper yet. This is our start location. Okay, cool. Of course, the reason to use yin is that you want to explore like a strange fairy dimension. I didn't actually have a goal in mind when I picked this, so maybe we'll just wander around randomly and see what happens. So I think we'll just go deeper. So we're rolling to our next location. This will be d20 plus 1. That's a 20, which is a shadow theatre on page 43. And for a feature, we have Dead Explorers. So a shadow theatre is a semicircular amphitheatre with stone steps for seats, now overgrown with moss and ferns. A central stage with the rusted, rotting, crumbling apparatus for shadow puppets. Puppets here don't move normally. They react when their owners remain still and grope towards light sources. I think I know what killed those adventurers. Or explorers, rather. They react when their owners remain still and grope towards light sources. Linger here and the shadows begin to detach. 1 damage to charisma per turn spent here. On leaving, the effect continues each turn. Make a save versus magic. On failure, the effect carries on indefinitely. On a success, the damage stops after as many turns as the number rolled. If charisma hits 0, the shadow is finally free. Heal all lost charisma. From this point on, you have no shadow, no reflection. Things are bad. I think I know what Dead Explorers looks like, but let's just see what it says. The corpses of D6 explorers, and they're in some conditions. So we have 4 explorers, which are still warm. So they have just been killed by animate shadows, probably. Actually, I'm not really feeling just generating random locations without a goal in mind. I'm not really sure what to do with the stream now that Alone Against the Frost has ended unsuccessfully and in a bit less time than I had hoped. So let's get rid of those. I could, so not actually tested streaming a game. Um, there is a game I want to look at in the future when it releases, Secret of Weepstone, which is a very RPG or like D&D inspired uh, game. There is a demo of it out. I have played the demo, but I've not tried streaming a game. So I think I'll actually bring up the demo of that and see if I've got OBS configured properly for streaming games. So let's have a go at this. Oh no, that's opened on the wrong monitor. Need to somehow minimize this. And that's very loud. Okay, that's volume reduced. It's on the correct screen. Now let's see if I can get this in OBS. So let's switch over to the gaming tab. And I want to capture Secret of Weepstone. Okay, that's being captured and being streamed. Let's just update the stream title. Okay, and let's capture the audio. Is this capturing audio? Can you hear the game music? So move myself down to this corner. I'll just record this for a moment just to see if the audio is coming through correctly. It looks like it is, but okay, faintly. All right. Maybe I can slightly. I did put it down to 5%. There we go, 10%. Now twice as loud. Okay. Let's give this a go. So,
nestled in the shadow of its imposing, now abandoned keep, sits the dwindling riverside village of Weepstone. But things were not always so. For in times gone by, a man from the east, known only as Raal, grew to power, waging a relentless campaign westward. After crossing the mountains into the kingdom of Talesworth, he established his seat of power and constructed a stronghold from which to oversee his lands. He called this stronghold Weepstone Keep. Many wondered what compelled this mysterious and seemingly unstoppable warrior to end his bloody campaign in this place. But the years were good to Weepstone and its people, their harvests unfailingly robust, and their industries the envy of neighbors both near and far. However, Raal would not live forever, and upon his death, his lands passed to his eldest son, Byron, and thus began the troubled times. Long past are the seasons of plenty for Weepstone and its people, whose fields now sit barren, the people forsaken by the good fortunes they once took for granted. To the astonishment of many, Byron abandoned Weepstone Keep for a modest manor on a hill near the town, and forbade anyone to return to its halls. Now the town barely survives, mostly as an unwelcome stop along a trade route used by merchants too impatient to travel the hospitable roads of the south. Only the trapped or the desperate continue to call this bleak place their home. Our story begins here, on a night of ill omen, as the people of Weepstone have been called to the tavern for reasons unknown. Good people of Weepstone, I've summoned you here to discuss a matter of grave importance. My brother and your lord, Byron, has fallen ill. He is rarely conscious. His nights are fraught with fevered dreams and terrible nightmares. The healers know not what ails him. In his half-waking state, he mumbles incoherently of Weepstone Keep, the castle that our father built, our childhood home. I can only hope that it is there where answers may lie. Are there any among you willing to delve into that forsaken place to find the source of Byron's torment? I will not lie. There is undoubtedly great danger waiting for any who venture there, in the form of both man and beast. While the keep and its contents have been forbidden since our exile, I hereby decree that any brave enough to take on this task may enter, explore, and importantly, keep what they may find within its walls. Who among you will take up this duty? I need 6 volunteers. Please, I would rather not have my hand forced to choose.
Okay, so as this is a demo, we don't actually get a big choice of characters. Most of them are unavailable in the demo. I think there's only like 6 we can take. So let's see, we have Ray Wyatt, a middle-aged dwarven blacksmith, exiled from the capital city of Talesworth for crafting items forbidden by the Guild of Artificers. When asked about his peg leg, the story changes every time.
I said I would stick to plows and horseshoes, but I still know how to swing a hammer.
We've got Egbert Graham. Egbert once served as the cook for Lord Byron's father at Weepstone Keep. He loves only 2 things, his wife Della and a perfectly cooked meal. Though mostly retired, he's been able to dust off his knives for a feast day. Magic user.
I'm always one to lend a hand.
Who comes with his wife.
Della thinks about it.
We know the keep better than most, Egbert. It's only right we try to help.
So she was a housekeeper. She now spends her time gardening with her husband Egbert and is known affectionately as Ma Della to the children of the town. She is a cleric. We have a fighter, Tatum Harlow. It'd be easy to write Tatum off as a moron if it weren't for the fact that occasionally he's shockingly smart. However, the townsfolk have generally decided that every village needs an idiot, and sometimes they volunteer.
Okay. What's the key?
We've got an elf, Starla Beverly. Starla has known the day she would die since she was a child. At least that's what her cultist parents taught her. She ran away to avoid being their ritual sacrifice, and maybe avoid her fate.
It is beyond me to make this choice. This path has already been chosen for me.
And finally we have the kid, a thief. No one's sure where the kid is from. He's never spoken a word to anyone. Only those new to town would be unwise enough to leave anything valuable unattended when he's nearby. And he doesn't say anything because he doesn't speak. Okay, so there will be other characters in the full game. Let's see, we've got another thief here, another elf, another magic user, dwarf, cleric, halfling, and magic user. But we only have these 6 to start with.
And so the unlikely party set out for the keep, arriving at the gates just as the evening light began to fade.
But yes, even the map looks like an old module, which is quite neat. Okay, so yep, trapped inside.
assume the formidable visage on this statue is Raal himself. The left hand holds a small shield, while the right hand holds a lion-headed scepter. The arm seems to be designed to act as a lever, and is already in the down position.
I think it does like a pretty good job of like explaining the mechanics in the demo. So we've got, you know, two statues next to like portcullises. This one, the portcullis is already up. This one, the portcullis is down. If we look at this one,
One can only assume the formidable visage on this statue is Raal himself. There seems to be something missing from this statue's hand, as though it's meant to grip an object.
so yeah, there's nothing in his hand, and we can't pull the arm.
The arm seems to be designed to act as a lever, but the mechanism refuses to budge.
We can have someone search for traps. Let's see who's good at it. Della has a 40% chance. That's the best. I preempted it. Okay, search for traps. So it's not like entirely D&D mechanics. It uses percentiles for skills. But it's fairly close. And there is a needle trap that has been disarmed. We can't get through here.
With their combined might, but can do little to move the steel portcullis. There must be another way.
Yeah. Things that seem incredibly simple can be super difficult, actually, when you're running a game. Actually, the first time I went through this demo, I didn't notice the line scepter down here. I don't know how I didn't notice this. It's outlined in blue. But yes, when I first tried this demo, I just kind of checked out this statue and then went through this door and didn't notice this at all. But we've got this. A scepter that matches the other statue. The inventory is kind of is a grid-based thing. Can we rotate things? No, can't rotate things in the inventory. Just have to kind of fit in there.
One can only assume
We can give the statue.
the scepter snaps into place with a satisfying click.
You've got a healing potion. If we look at the map, it's go back to the kind of module style thing, which I quite like. So let's go explore.
This stately but smaller hall seems to have served as a gallery of sorts. Crumbled detritus of carved busts and toppled plinths lie in shambles across the floor. The only remnants that hint at the original grandeur of this place are the large tapestries that still hang on the opposing walls, dominating the space. Depicted in the mural that spans the length of this side of the hall is the silhouette of a man standing in front of what looks like a calm pool of water. Though at first it appears to be merely a pool in a cavern, the exacting geometric carvings that decorate the hewn stone walls are of unsettling design. Before you spans a great mural dominating the entire stretch of wall. A man, most likely Rahl himself, sits astride his great warhorse. He brandishes an outstretched sword at the body of a fallen foe, flanked by his imposing host.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything else interactable in this room. So let's move on. I feel the doors may be slightly too big as I keep getting hit by them as I go through them.
The party lifts with their combined might, but can do little to move the steel portcullis. There must be another way. This door is not locked, but it refuses all attempts to open it.
Looks like we don't have listen chances.
Discernible sounds come from beyond the door.
Everyone's equally good at listening, I guess.
You attack the door, but fail to cause any significant damage.
Okay, we'll come back to that.
Spartan beds and matching foot chests hint at this room's use as a barrack of some kind. The ravages of looters and time have been unkind, leaving it in shambles. A makeshift structure built from bed frames dominates the rear of the chamber.
Rusty spear. It's 1d6 minus 1 damage. Let's replace his rusty meat cleaver with a rusty spear. Got a sling. Got a sling. Got a loaded teddy bear. It's a close range weapon. Let's give him a sling, and we'll give the teddy bear to this guy. Nothing in here.
The sound of small boots disturbs the quiet of the room as small figures burst forth from the haphazard barricade. They brandish crude weapons and seem particularly intent on defending their hideout.
So now we've got some combat against these goblins. Yeah, the combat positioning is very simple, just arranged in 3 rows, as I said, which I'm sure I've seen in some RPGs. You know, where you want like a slight degree of tactics, but without needing to worry entirely about positioning and stuff. Alright, let's now get just killed by goblins. And unfortunately, it wants me to use the scroll. Now I can't save it, but I can shoot someone in the back row with it at least. For 2 whole damage. We did it. Let's take their loot. Okay, a good dagger, not a rusty one. Slightly better than his hammer, but I feel the hammer is pretty dwarfy. He's got the loaded teddy bear. Heritage short sword. I guess let's swap out the hammer then. Let's drop this rusty meat cleaver and rusty dagger. Don't really want to use my healing potion yet. Be mostly wasted. Got a lever.
A grinding noise, followed by the sound of metal scraping on stone, echoed.
Let's go for this door.
This door is wedged shut by the damp and refuses to open.
Who's good at bashing doors down? Oh, that hurts if you don't get the door. Maybe I will use that healing potion.
Your weapons.
Oh, let's try. Again. I'll try one more time and then I'll use the healing potion. I don't want to die by running into a door. Okay, nice. The door is open.
Though humble, these quarters were clearly reserved for a captain or leader of the keep's guard.
Okay. Yes. Got 2 hit points back.
My thoughts of late are greatly troubled, and my faith in our Lord falters. That priestess, Lorona, and her jealously guarded activities beneath the keep bring me great concern. If the captain of his lord's guard is not permitted to venture below to the Undercroft, one can only imagine why.
Okay, something's going on in the Undercroft. And there's someone there. Got a scroll of lightning. Nothing else in here.
A foul odor pervades this place. A smell so heinous it is beyond description. A sitting board runs the length of the far wall, with 3 openings. Despite the buzzing flies, you hear the faintest sound of rushing water that seems to be coming from the farthest hold. Your guts roil, your eyes water. Whatever faith you have is tested by the putrid fumes that waft from this unholy maw. Shockingly, the latrine is not only quite full, but its contents are surprisingly fresh. A gold sits just out of reach, atop the muck.
Hey, do I want the toilet gold? Let's get the toilet gold.
You sift blindly through horrors within, and to your surprise, you retrieve what feels like a ring. You emerge from the hole, smelling foul and feeling quite ill. Let us see if you are poisoned. Let's just say that you're poisoned.
Yep. Ring of Regeneration. Let's give this to Ray, given that he is currently poisoned. Yes, he's got the ring. He has +1 dagger. What else have we got, if anything?
As you approach the middle latrine, you are blasted by an odor beyond words. You have no choice but to back away. Peering into the opening shows a drop that leads out of sight and into absolute darkness, farther than any sane person would attempt to climb, unless, of course, they wished for certain death. You hear the sound of rushing water coming from below.
I don't want certain death, so let's not go in there. Okay, so we've explored the rooms around here. Let's go back. This should bring us back into the... I'm almost got trapped behind the door there somehow. Okay, so we're back in the entrance hall. Let's go check out some other stuff.
This door is locked and won't budge. The large forge at the center of this room seems long dormant, but the smell of coke and coal still permeates every inch. Crates, barrels, and scattered ashes are scant reminders that this was once the beating heart of the keep.
Okay, so indentation, melting pot, and bellows,
You lean in,
and a forge.
lighting the forge with your torch. It is indeed lit, but only just.
Let's grab a steel ingot. What's got a door here? We'll come back to that. Put the steel in the bucket.
A filthy, disheveled
Found a
man
guy.
holding a knife cowers in the corner while eyeing you cautiously. Makeshift bedding and various personal effects lie in disarray. The smell is pungent.
What are you lot doing in here? Well, it's been raining of late. Old Krieg needed to get me head dry. Other than all the creatures who want me dead, nothing in particular. No.
Yeah, let's invite the crazy guy to join our party.
Sure. If you'll have old Krieg.
Okay, what does Krieg have? He has a dagger. We'd give him the hammer. Ideally, we'd have another ranged weapon because he's at the back. Kid has a sling, got a spear, sling. We've got Krigg with now got a hammer. Wants me to move people. Okay, fine.
The forge begins heating up as you pump the bellows, but the embers remain quite cold. As more air pumps into the forge, the forge is as hot as it's going to get. The heat As the steel ingot melts, the molten steel flows into the indentation and drains out through a hole. You seem to be missing something.
Yeah, we need a mold of sorts to put in here, so we've got a use item interaction. Let's keep going.
The smith's quarters are Spartan and humble, but must have once been a comfortable respite from the heat and ringing of the forge after a long day's labours.
Got a mold.
Yeah, I'm a daft, blasted idiot. I just can't seem to keep my head on straight anymore these days. 1. Forge the armory key for the 3rd time this year. 2. Finish up Larona's set of fancy daggers. 3. Ask the apothecary about these blasted nightmares.
Right, so it's the key to the armor. Ooh, a hammer. Let's give that to this guy. And he can have that. Can drop the rusty dagger, I think. And there's nothing else in here. We can now put the key mold in the thing and take a steel ingot from the box of infinite ingots and make a new key.
As the ingot begins to melt, the steel slowly oozes into the mold. After a few minutes, the newly forged key is just barely cool enough to handle.
I feel it'll take more than a few minutes for molten steel to cool, something you can touch with your bare hands. Oh, what do I know? Right, back to the room with the chittering.
This door is locked. Your entrance startles the large, scuttling creature that seems to have been nibbling on what remains of an axe blade. It rears up in surprise, emitting an eerie, chittering noise.
Kind of wish I had another ranged weapon for this, but so we'll just see what happens. This is not off to a good start. Oh no. Finally hitting, there's only 1 damage. And she can't hit because she doesn't have a ranged weapon. No! My +1 dagger. Let's swap him to the back. Oh, she doesn't get to act. That's unfortunate. I don't want the thing to get another turn. Oh, she does get to act. But unsuccessfully. Okay, Rust Monster gone. Don't need to replace a weapon.
The earthy smell of rusting metal and leather gone to rot fill this chamber that clearly once served as an armory. Mouldering armor and rusting weapons sit in chaotic piles, strewn without care and long forgotten.
Right, what do we got here? A small shield. Let's give that to him. Got a lever. Let's pull that.
A grinding noise, followed by
Corroded weapons, not useful. A Morning Star. It's 1d6. Let's give that to you. Another shield. Let's give it to you. Another rusty spear. Okay, a rusty spear isn't. Okay, let's give him that and move him to here. So we've got the kid with the sling at the back, and then in this row we've got 2 spears and a sling, and then up front we've all got all melee weapons. That'll do. So yes, there's just the portcullis upstairs to go through now. Which was it here, or was that a different corridor? Up and along. And it was this. Yep.
a large, barren courtyard opens before you, complete with mature trees and cobblestone walkways. As you cross the threshold, a sprinkling of pebbles and dust rain down from above. From atop the towering walls surrounding the courtyard, a group of screeching kobolds vault the parapets and descend upon you.
Okay, so everyone can now hit in combat, so hopefully this will go more smoothly. Well, they won initiative, so already off to a bad start. Can I finish it in one round? Not quite. Okay, so we've got someone down to 1 hit point and we don't have any healing things. That's a shame.
Despite your best efforts, the door refuses to budge. Despite your best efforts, the door refuses to budge.
So I assume these 2 doors are to areas which aren't implemented in the demo. Because we now get a boss fight. There isn't a convenient stash of healing potions on the floor. That's a shame.
You there? Who are you that dares enter this sacred place? Truly, I'm surprised the ignorant fool still lives. I would see you clearer. Come closer. Now. It would be rude to not introduce myself to guests. I am Laronia, the ever-faithful. You say you've come on behalf of Byron. How does he fare? Still a craven, I presume? How tragic. Maybe he'll pull through. I know of ways to end his suffering.
It's a very vague comment to make.
Let me show you.
Okay. I think I'll have my ranged fighters focus on her at the back. And the melee fighters will focus on the skeletons. Yeah, can't get her. Okay, a sling. I should have used my lightning scroll, maybe. Oh well. That's not a good number. Oh, paralyzed. Interesting that paralysis doesn't give you not like an automatic hit. But yeah, he has to pass. Okay, I could use my scroll of lightning. That's only 1d4 damage though, and my sword does 1d6. Though I don't need to roll to hit with the lightning, which would have been the better choice here. Oh well. Not good rolls. He's still paralyzed.
I must have misinterpreted the omens. Today, he calls for me. It matters not. I am only a servant in his grand designs. It has already begun.
And with that, the spark of life fades from the mad priestess, leaving behind naught but a dead-eyed rictus.
And that's it. That's the demo. I'm definitely looking forward to when this comes out, which is going to be sometime next year. I don't think anything more specific has been said. So, yeah, looking forward to it. I will play it on stream when the full thing is out, as I feel it does capture the like old school dungeon crawling vibe very well. Yeah, we'll see. And I guess I'll end the stream here. It's been 3 hours now. Did what was planned, played Alone Against the Frost, though it was not as successful as hoped. And yeah, wraps up the time with some Secret of Weepstone. So on Friday, back to Moria, and hopefully not almost dying at the hands of Troll again. Alright, see you next time.